Hi, I'm Nikki Jovikic from Lookup Strata, and I'm here today with Chris Irons from Strata Solve. Welcome to our micro webinar series covering a few different topics. As the videos in this series are not as long as our usual webinars, CPD points don't apply. These are short, sharp grabs of content about essential issues. This series is great if you're time poor, as we still give expert strata perspective. Chris is well known from his time as Queensland's former Body Corporate Commissioner, and he's now out on his own as an independent strata consultant. In this session, Chris will be particularly talking about privacy when it comes to body corporate records. Chris, over to you.
Thanks very much, Nikki. Hello, everybody. As Nikki said, short and sharp is the name of the game. So let's get right into it today. Today, privacy when it comes to body corporate records, a big topic for a lot of people. Short disclaimer that today is not legal advice, and all references to legislation here are to Queensland legislation unless otherwise stated. But we do think the issues have applicability across jurisdictions. Mr. Burns, he would know all about privacy policy, one would assume. It's a big deal for people, their privacy and any perceptions that it's being infringed upon. I'm going to try and break it down quickly for you. Of course, privacy is a prized asset. There is a big difference though between privacy and transparency when it comes to body corporate issues. Body corporate legislation is one instance where open communication isn't just something that we would like, it's actually mandated and obligated. So what do I actually mean by that? The body corporate role contains all of the contact details of all owners in a building. There is in Queensland no capacity to redact or conceal details on a role, and I suspect that that is largely the case elsewhere as well. In Queensland anyway, there can be some significant financial penalty for non-supply of details to the role and for not keeping the role up to date. So what needs to go on the role? Well, this is not an exhaustive list, but the owner details, so their contact details. In Queensland, an email address is an opt-in thing, but once it's there, it is absolutely available to an interested person as defined by legislation to access. And that's what we just said then. Our first micro webinar thought bubble. Did you know, and this is a big did you know in Queensland, that tenants' details also need to be included on the body corporate role if their lease is more than 6 months. The details about the real estate agent also need to be included on the role. It's a fact not commonly understood. What are some of the hot button privacy issues for strata records? This is something that Lookup Strata has pursued a couple of times with CCTV footage and location. What privacy exists around that? The answer is not much. Why indeed should your details be available? The key issue about being in a body corporate is that you're part of a community, and there is often a need to be able to contact other owners to discuss issues. That's why your details are available. Our next thought bubble for this micro webinar. What government agency deals with privacy concerns? In Queensland, it is the Office of the Information Commissioner. And if you've got queries specifically about privacy, you can contact that agency. So my best practice tips when it comes to privacy in relation to body corporate records. If you've got a concern about being contacted, you've got a concern about your email address being made available, create a brand new email address only for body corporate business and use that for the body corporate role. Number 2, think twice or thrice, or maybe even 4 times before putting pen to paper. Before you hit reply all to that email ranting and raving about a body corporate problem, remember that the instant you do, that becomes a body corporate record. And there's no privacy over what you have said in relation to that. If a problem does arise though, manage it sensitively and promptly. If someone's details have been given out and it's caused distress, forget for a moment that there's no such thing as privacy when it comes to a body corporate record. Think about the impact it's having on that individual and try and approach it from that perspective. And our final thought bubble for this micro webinar. How much do you actually need to be involved? Do you need to be responding? Do you need to CC others? Do you need to be CC'd at all? Think about your involvement in body corporate discussions. Think about whether you need to reply at all. Those are the contact details there for StrataSolve. Look forward to hearing from you if you've got any queries. Nikki, back to you.
If you have a question about privacy issues surrounding body corporate records, place a comment in the comment section below this video, and we'll do our best to provide a response or point you in the right direction. Thanks so much, Chris.
Thanks, Nikki. Thanks, everyone.